Come bearing gifts. He brought some medicine from the mountains. I love it.
Bucho.
Bucho.
Medicine from the mountains.
Some exciting stuff happened since the last time you were here, obviously.
To say the least.
Yeah. You were planting native, was it wildflowers or something else?
Essentially wildflowers. It was a traditional first food, a biscuit root, like we had talked in the last video.
Yeah.
A particular one that's native to the Hells Canyon region. Its specific name is Lomatium basalticum. And it's got these beautiful fern leaves. And so I gathered the seed in the summer, and then later that fall, I returned to that area. And I went out to the rim of Hells Canyon, and I used my Pulaski to move earth in the form of giant letters that read, "Eat me," and planted it with wild food. So now I'm being charged with destruction of government property by the Forest Service.
So the Forest Service, and that is essentially the U.S. government.
Correct.
Versus you, Michael Ridge.
Yeah.
What spurred the reaction? Like,
Somebody reported it, for sure. And I don't think I can share their name publicly,
oh, okay.
but they work for the Forest Service.
Oh, okay.
And they saw it. They saw my post on Facebook and reported it. They thought I did a bad thing.
Man.
Eat me is poetic, right? It's both instructions and insult, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the performance art, because
It's an invitation.
it's an invitation.
My goodness.
Instructions.
Yeah.
And everything that I do has reason, meaning, and purpose behind it. I'm not doing anything belligerently. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
The reason why I chose the words "eat me" is because it's in line with the creation story of the native people to that area. The Nez Perce tribe, the Nimipu people, have a creation story that's how all the Northwestern people came into existence. And in this story, it's a coyote story. There's this massive monster called the Heart Eater monster, or the Swallowing monster. And this monster had swallowed all the beings. They were all inside. So all the people were trapped inside of this swallowing monster. And Coyote was on his way to go take care of that. And what Coyote did was tie off to the mountain ranges with this monster in the canyon down below. So Coyote was fast and tight, and he enticed that monster to breathe him in. He said, "Breathe me in." And as that monster was sucking Coyote through the canyon, he's flying back and forth, tied off. And as he's flying back and forth, he's planting all the roots, shoots, berries, nuts, and fruits, the first foods for the people, because they're going to be hungry when they get out of that monster.
Wow.
And so that's the performance art right there. But breathe me in is a lot of words to carve in the hillside 20 foot tall by yourself.
Yeah.
So Coyote being the trickster, I trickstered the trickster's version and put "eat me."
Yeah. It's a cliff note. I like it.
You know, so there's a lot of depth and many layers, and it goes different directions. But you would think the fed would be full, but no matter how full the fed is, they're trying to eat me, just like that monster. What's even funnier about this is the Forest Service ranger that signed off on this paperwork. His last name is Hart.
Wow.
And so it's just too real.
Yeah. And now how serious is the offense, the charge?
Oh, it's probably a misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor?
Yeah, I don't know.
Destruction of property, government property.
Destruction of government property, right? It's very temporary. It's
yeah.
a very temporary thing. So what I actually did was remove the surface sod, because the canyon is loaded with cheatgrass, which is a non-native annual species of grass that has actually been the detriment of the entire West. It's a very bad thing that has overtaken and made it a hostile environment for all wildlife. In fact, the seeds of cheatgrass on them themselves have barbs that drive forward with motion and movement. And so it'll actually drive into fur bearers, right into their skin, create pustulous infections, and in some cases they'll suffer and die. And so any fur bearers suffer greatly from it. And so I removed the surface sod, and I didn't disturb any of the living roots and lilies and bunch grasses there. I just removed that surface sod, and I moved it over and flipped it over to make the letters look bigger. And then
I
I
see.
planted a traditional first food, a biscuit root. That actually creates a massive taproot. And these are significant because the bigger taproots you have in the ground, they cool the radiant temperature of the soil. It's a good thing. And I actually went back, versus November when it was fresh and you could see it sticking out. And I went back in April. You can barely see it.
I was going to ask you, is it something even visible? Did it?
It's a performance art. It's not a temporary thing.
Absolutely.
I doubt it'll even bloom into letters.
Exactly. Yeah.
It brings attention to these living systems that are still within the landscape. And that's the point, right? Because there's food, medicine, and materials, wild and native to the land. And imagine your outer biome nurtured your inner biome. It'd be some good healing right there.
Yeah.
That's the way it used to be.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere you live gives you everything you need to exist within that environment. And that isn't even a notion of a thought considered relevant at all.
So almost the course of action by the Forest Service, it is, in a sense, furthering the mission, which is,
It's an opportunity.
visibility. Yeah.
But I think they're getting more than they bargained for. We'll see. Because this, to me, is an opportunity to set precedents for wild tending.
Yeah.
Because there isn't a single job or occupation that contributes solely to the function of the web of life. You can find jobs mitigating destruction through restoration and conservation. But mitigation, my problem with that is that it's the art of one step forward, two steps backward. And so it's always reducing damage already incurred. And that's what the Forest Service does. They permit destruction, mining, logging, livestock, and then mitigate their damage instead of preventing it from happening in the first place. And that's what they call stewardship.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no real avenue for people to participate in Earth's living systems that's proactive and beneficial and mutually beneficial. So this is a worthy thing to step up and be like, no, I'm not going to go for reduced charges or case dismissed. It's an opportunity to set precedents that wild tending is a necessary act that everybody should have the right to.
That's massive.
Everybody should have the right to participate with the world we're living in a mutually beneficial way without being labeled a criminal. Pretty important.
Very important. As today is important. It's Earth Day, right? Is today Earth Day?
Today's Earth Day. That's right.
And a beautiful thing. And you started a petition, or did you start the petition? Or
I did not.
There is a petition that exists right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's essentially what the things I just went over,
Yeah.
To create this avenue to set precedents for our right to wild tend the wild. Maybe it doesn't have to be, wildflower graffiti like I chose to do, but I love that. I think it's great.
I noticed in one of the comments on the video that we did last, someone said, "You need a permit to be doing that." Did you see that one by chance?
No.
What's the story with that? Is that someone trolling, or is that?
There's no permit you can go get to do that.
Because I thought that seems a little asinine. But
To me, when I was, there was a powwow I attended long ago, like one of my very first years traveling, and in this powwow, we were honored because we had huge military duffel bags full of biscuit root seeds, two of them, like 100 pounds of biscuit root seeds. And a grandmother got up on stage and held out these seeds and said, "Keep doing this. Keep doing this." And in my mind, that's all the authority and permission right there.
there it is. Yeah.
The voice of the people that have been around since the beginning.
Yeah.
It's important stuff.
Yeah. Before, like you said, now you can go out and you can get permission to do damage.
You can.
That's the only difference now. Is that
And this place in particular in Hell's Canyon, every drainage in the canyon has been dredged, mined, and loaded with cyanide and mercury.
Are you serious?
Every drainage.
Oh, it's terrible. And where is that going?
Straight to the Snake Lake, right?
Oh man.
I mean, they have a limit on how many fish you can eat out of the Snake River. I believe it's like 3 per month because you'll get mercury poisoning.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so I don't eat anything out of there, right? I don't fish out of the Snake Lake.
And that's something I know that's not just there in Idaho, but it's elsewhere. Even here, I know that some people aren't buying properties because the water's been testing positive for cyanide. What's happening out here, man?
Well, a lot of the damage that we're seeing nowadays is consequences catching up for past action. You know, these things take time.
Just a complete lack of accountability then.
Like the forests, you know, forest fires being a yearly event was never the case, but once the old growth is taken out and then all these babies come up competing, and when wildfires take over, old growth trees don't burn up in wildfires. They're fire retardant. And so since it's a baby forest, the wildfires get so massive. And so it's a feedback loop.
Yeah.
And it's consequence for past action. You know, and it amounts to the weather that we're incurring, drought, everything.
It's got to be a new challenge because obviously you're seeing a lot less snowpack right now up there. And have you experienced a summer like this yet, do you think, in terms of
No, this is
outlook?
probably the warmest winter I've ever seen. And I equate it to like going to bed and not getting your REM, not getting your deep sleep. And the land did not get its deep
Wow,
sleep.
that's a great analogy.
So I'd imagine she's going to be a little cranky this year.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That could amount to extreme weather, extreme
Yeah.
conditions, extreme heat. And the land reciprocates what
Yeah.
it's been giving. So whatever relationship that is, whatever relationship the land has received, it's going to reciprocate it. So if it receives generosity and tending, it's going to reciprocate that. But if it receives abuse, it's going to reciprocate that. And these places that have been highly abused become very hostile to be in.
Yeah.
You know, cheatgrass being a good example of that. All the weeds and
Yeah.
stickers and stuff. That
In that original video that you made when you went out and did this, I remember you showed us some really up close shots of the cheatgrass. So I'll probably just show that to the viewers now, just for context, just so they can see that.
I carved giant letters in the hillside and planted it with wild foods. And it's the first field guide I've ever written. Most people don't know what to eat out in the wild, so let's make those wild foods identify themselves by carving 20-foot long letters 2 foot wide in the steepest hillside in Hell's Canyon. It's not the first time I've done wildflower graffiti. What looks like vandalizing is actually revitalizing. Giant letters forming a word to invite you to help yourself. This took me hours, and it was a real workout. And I didn't plan on it being a cold and foggy day, but it kept me from being seen. I gathered my wild food seed just a couple miles from here when I was traveling on horseback in the springtime. It's a Lomatium species, otherwise known as biscuit root, fern-leaf biscuit root, and it's growing all around the letters that I just carved in the hillside. And now it's going to grow in density and abundance right in the letters I just carved. And if you live out west, biscuit root is a staple food for your wild diet, which provides wild carbohydrates. And these wild seeds need the cold of wintertime to germinate come spring. Can anyone guess the word? You can see it perfectly for miles away once the fog clears. I was getting impatient, so I helped it along.
So now, are you in town until this lawsuit pans out, or what's the story? Like,
usually around this time, I'm saddled up and already traveling and in motion. So yeah, I can't do that and be available, you know, to visit an attorney or go to court and all these things. And so I'm staying with the ponies in a home style situation. So we actually get to camp out in a vacant, unfurnished home, got full permission to be there. Although I created content like I snuck in and broke in just because I got to have some fun. But
right.
But yeah, an unfurnished home with hardwood floors is great for somebody like me that likes to spend a lot of time alone hermiting. And this place echoes my own thoughts back to me. So I get to sit in that.
And of course, there's the running water, which is
Unlimited shower glitch. Yep.
is it hot water? Is everything turned on there?
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah. Spoiled.
Every morning when I get in the shower and I have a hot shower, I am so grateful. And I think about, of all the things we take for granted in life and how comfortable we have it right now as human beings in general in this region in the United States, and how many of us fail to even see that. I mean, because 100 years ago, you couldn't even imagine on-demand hot water. I mean, it's a gift.
Unless you were near a hot spring.
Yeah. Oof.
And all winter long, I had access to a well. Great water to drink. So I set up my horse's water tank on a cinder blocks and had a fire underneath of it and would take baths under the stars
Oh, wow.
all winter long. And that was just precious.
Oh, my goodness. All winter long.
Yeah, I've never had a camp where I could take baths and drink water in my camp. So that was great.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking because there's no going back to that location, right? That one's...
That's right. That was in Mesa, Idaho. I can say that now that I'm gone. I usually do not disclose my location because a lot of people know who I am now. And I used to be really public. Used to put my phone number on like signs and stuff, asking for hides. And I cannot do that anymore.
Really?
Cannot. There's just too many.
What happens?
There's just too many fans and people.
Too many offers.
I'm recognized everywhere I go. Every time I leave my camp and go into town, I'm recognized from social media, whether it's the grocery store, whether it's another state or another country. I'm recognized everywhere I go. It's very new for me.
Yeah.
So I got to be a little bit more withheld and strategic in what I share and when I'm sharing it. So posting content, I'll delay it, right?
Yeah.
People recognize the spot that I was in. And by the time I post it, I've moved on.
Okay.
I've moved on.
The adverse being people coming to find you, people disturbing you.
I've had it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, people following you and trailing you down, tracking you down, putting you in a position where like they want something and I'm solo.
That's interesting. Just the fact how you've been very consistent with how you live for the last 12 years plus. Mm-hmm. And yet now there's this new element that you have to deal with that alters that a little bit.
Like I remember just a week or two ago when I didn't have an attorney secured, somebody commented on one of my Facebook posts and they said, they're an attorney. I'm an attorney. Contact me. And my mother noticed that comment, pointed it out to me. It's like, all right, I'll check it out. So I sent them a message. First thing they say to me is, I'm in love with you. Block.
Oh, man.
Block. Because once you accept a message, once you accept their message, they forever have access direct to your message. I can't, so that's something to be mindful. I'm not trying to give people direct access to me at an unlimited
next time,
rate.
have a little more tact, Don't lead with "I love you," Or,
they said I'm in love with you.
Take it easy,
So I'm not open to literally everybody that wants to contact me.
Damn, and that's probably a new way of life now, right? Because it's
just an adjustment. It's a mild adjustment. You got to be a little bit more strategic. And at the same time, I just do not have a voice that can compete with others. I have such a quiet voice, especially in loud spaces. And so stand out. But unless I have the mic, nobody can hear me.
Interesting. I would have never have assumed that about you.
Yeah.
Because I've known you for about 2 years now. When I say know you, you come in from the wilderness once in a while, maybe once or twice a year, and I get to meet with you.
I was thinking about that too. Like the last time I came in to this area, I had been months out in the wilderness. And you come in with this glow of being and enduring uncomfortable situations successfully. It gives you this patina, a dirt patina that is complementary to your features. It gives you a glow in the eyes and gives you this. I'm coming. I'm not coming from that situation right now.
Oh, I see.
So I feel a little dulled.
Interesting.
I feel a little dulled.
Wow.
Not as sharp. I'm proud of what I did, and when I went to go visit the spot where I had planted those foods and watching my babies come up, that's a satisfaction that nobody can rob from me.
Right.
Nobody can tell me that that's wrong because my actions contributed to the very fabric that makes life possible. And I get to witness that and see it and watch it come up. It doesn't matter who tells me that's wrong. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. And I'm sure there's more people telling you it's beautiful than wrong anyway. There's more people that are moved by that.
I got a lot of support.
Absolutely.
I do. But most of the passionate haters are silent, right? Yeah, that's how it is.
Wow. So this is the first season in how many seasons that you haven't been headed out? Even longer?
This is 13 years this year. 13 years of traveling nomadic on horseback.
And this is the first time we're
getting a late start, I guess.
A late start.
We'll see how it goes.
That's a better way of putting it, yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Just breaking the pattern.
I intend to saddle up and continue traveling. Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is like you said, this is an opportunity.
And it's essentially taxpayer money versus taxpayer money, right? Because the feds have unlimited access to that taxpayer money to pursue these kinds of things, and then I have the support from the population as well. And so it's kind of funny to look at it that way.
It really is.
But that's kind of how I see it.
That's incredible. So just for like a general milestone, like what's next? What should people be looking out for in terms of next steps with this?
Well, my first court date is May the 4th.
May the 4th.
May the 4th be with me.
And where's that going to be? Here in
It's going to be
Boise?
here in Boise.
Wow.
At the federal courthouse.
What an opportunity.
Next to the Veterans Park.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So I don't think people can come into the court, and they got security around the building and stuff, but people can go to the park.
Yeah, people can be present.
We could write "Eat Me in the Park" with flowers. That's an option.
That is an option. That's a very interesting idea.
Maybe not plant it, but
Of course,
but just kind of form it.
Yeah.
A little statement. Eat me out in the park.
Oh boy, I think this is on. I think this is happening. May the 4th. That's soon. Good.
Yeah, it's coming up.
More than enough time to spread the word.
Yeah, for me, there is no other goal or ambition. It's to lengthen and strengthen that reach of impact. So if I can use this opportunity to continue and further that goal and mission, that's what I want to see. You know, I want to see place-based literacy where people know the home in which they live and can participate within it in a way that contributes to its function. Because like I said, there is no job out there that solely contributes to the function of our living world. Mm-hmm. There is no position you can go. You can do restorative work. You can do conservative work, conservation.
Right.
And personally, I would like to see the foods, medicines, and materials that are left all across America taken accounted for. Like taking account of the people after a war, who's left. Because none of these things have been considered in that manner.
No.
Food, medicines, materials, wild and native to the ecosystem that simultaneously nurture human health and habitat health. Because imagine everywhere you live, as unique as it is, gives you everything you need to exist with that environment. This is a revolutionary thought. You know, it's not. It's as old as time.
Yeah.
But it's a very new concept.
Because it's been overlooked and completely forgotten about.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, of course.
Mm-hmm. Very few people know the place in which they live.
And that's something that's interesting that came up in the comments on our last video. A lot of people are saying, oh, awesome, I want to come do that. I want to be a part of that. How do I learn? Teach me. And obviously, is that possible? Like, can you go out with a group of 20, 30 people and effectively do this legally without ruining what's out there or damaging or causing harm? Like, how does that look?
Yeah, I hear it all the time. You know, if everybody did this, then it would deplete everything.
Right.
Which makes no sense. The way people are living right now depletes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a population of people living in reciprocal relationship with the place they live in, there's no downside to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some of these places have enough abundance to take care of you and nurture you and have enough to do that. You know, but it's more about being sensitive to place.
Right.
Because it's not about you.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's coming from where they're at. Just like the goal isn't to just jump off a cliff into all wild. You got to start from where you're at.
Right.
You got to come from where you're at. And so an introduction to these things is a great place to start.
And I think that you doing this is what creates that appetite in people, because without that, I don't know how we would know this even exists.
The bellies are full, but the spirit is hungry.
Oh man, the spirit is starving right now.
Yeah. And that's what it does, is it feeds the spirit. Because however that participation manifests in anybody is going to be unique to whoever they are, because we're all different.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Through time, these things come up in you that allow you access to yourself at a more refined level, at a more purified level. And so that we're all different, unique individuals in our personality and our being. And so that really gets complemented in that dedicated way of fidelity when you're committing yourself to a purpose that's beyond yourself. Yeah. It's like the sacrifice of yourself equates to yourself in a more whole way.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Just like my Eat Me project. A common concern is that it's just a bunch of people are going to go out there and it's a lot of work to do that. Mm-hmm. It's so much effort to do. You don't even know.
You were sweating bullets by the end of that video.
That's so much work. That's not it's not going to the hardware store, buying a can of spray paint and just like drawing a dick on the wall. No. I spent days gathering seed. I spent hours working my butt off. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And just the logistics of spelling it out coherently, so that it could be read from the next ridge over. I mean, that took some patience and some planning.
Yeah, planning. That's right. Everything was thought out. It wasn't some belligerent act.
Yeah.
But the effort that it takes is real and not likely to be replicated.
Yeah.
Not without somebody orchestrating it.
I'm sure that's part of the lawsuit. It's the fact that this was premeditated. It was planned. This is he's a terrorist. Get him.
I call it Terra-Ist. Terra-Ist.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Planting weapons of mass creation.
Oh my goodness. There's the title and tagline. Perfection.
Terra-Ist.
The Terra-Ist. So when did you receive wind that this was happening, considering that you're out there on the land? Like, how did they reach you? How did you find out that you were getting sued to begin with?
It must have been geofencing, right? They got my phone number. They can pinpoint my location because the day I was taking down my yurt and all my guts were everywhere. Yurt was halfway down and everything's blown in the wind. Here come the federal agents pulling up to my camp.
Wow, you got a visit from the feds.
Yes.
What an honor.
It's funny because just 2 days prior, my buddy had made an AI video of a female ranger coming into my camp saying, "Hey, you can't camp here." And then all of a sudden we start karate fighting.
Awesome. Can you see that?
And the ranger that came in was female.
Wow.
2 of them. Both of them were female. I thought this is just too poetic right here.
Oh, I was going to say prophetic. Like some kind of self-fulfilling prophecy of some kind. That's crazy.
It's interesting. Like calling it in, right?
Yeah.
Just Eat Me is calling it in.
Yeah. I wouldn't even call it consequences, but to see the cause and the effect, you were seen, I feel like you succeeded. I don't know if that was your plan initially to have this impact or create this type of conflict, but man.
Wasn't that like the Three Stooges? You suck and you suck and you suck until you succeed.
Oh, that's too good.
Pretty sure that's a Three Stooges.
I was going to say, you have a lot of pop culture resources for a man who's been out in the woods for 12 years.
Well, I heard that one from somebody else, so
really?
Can't take all the credit.
Okay. That's too funny. I was curious to rehash something that we once touched on before, not on camera though. You were telling me about your initial decision to embark on this lifestyle. You were describing an experience in a city. I think there was psilocybin involved at the time.
Yeah.
Would you mind just taking me through that one more time? Because I regret not having that recording.
I was 19 years old when I first smoked weed or tobacco and mushrooms. I tried mushrooms at 19 years old. And I was at Gasworks Park where a friend of mine had done it with me. And my girlfriend at the time was driving us all around Seattle. And we were at Gasworks Park, which is an industrial park where heavy machinery is kind of bolted to the ground, displayed like a statue or a monument. And it's a park, and they're all painted and everything.
Oh, cool.
And you got the view of downtown Seattle across the water. And so I was walking around Gasworks Park when those mushrooms really started to show themselves. And visually, like I just never had visions where reality is altered like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was enamored. And I remember walking past a mud puddle that had an oil stain in it and had a McDonald's cup floating in it. And it was at that moment, those mushrooms told me, the earth is dying and it's your fault.
Wow.
And it was an undeniable thing. And it impacted me greatly right there. It was just a moment of like undeniable realization. And that year I went from littering out of my car all over the place to picking up garbage, crying. There was a reversal right there, a polarization.
From that moment.
Yeah.
From that transmission, from that.
But still no direction, still no
Right.
trajectory, which I did gain just shortly after, right?
2 years later is when you ended up
meeting Finn.
Pine Creek?
Pine Nut Camp.
Pine Nut Camp. That's a pretty major pivot in life.
At a young age.
Yeah. What a blessing to find that.
Something about it just spoke to me in an undeniable way. That's for sure. I didn't know what to do about it.
It kind of gave you just a North Star. Go that way, that direction. Walk towards the light.
Toward purpose.
Yes.
Reason, meaning, and value.
Yeah. Reason, meaning, and value. Is that the definition of purpose?
My
fascinating.
definition of purpose is, participating in contributing to something that is beyond yourself, that feeds that web of life, the mycelial network that everything benefits from. A real purpose is beyond yourself.
Absolutely.
Not your own ambitions, not your job.
Sometimes we don't even realize that we don't even have purpose or haven't found it yet because it's been defined by something we learned at a very young age, right? Whatever contracts or agreements that were made, the instruction we had during our formative years, they almost fill in that gap for most people, and you don't even realize that you're ambling forward, chasing something that's not even that was told to you. It was nothing that you ever felt, but you've got to feel that.
I feel an obligation to be beneficial to the planet that I'm standing on. We call it FOMO, right? FOMO is fear of missing out.
I know it
but
well.
I got the FOMO of fear of my obligation. Like
Holy
I don't feel
shit.
right in the
God damn,
like I don't
man.
feel right in the spirit unless I'm on my purpose.
That's good.
So if you don't go to the party, you got FOMO, and if you do go to the party, you still got FOMO.
That's awesome, man. Wow. That's great.
It's FOMO either way.
Yeah. That's rich. That's wild, man. That's the fact that you were able to find that then at such a young age, and to have that, at least that purpose take root, and then you can now it's still in bloom now.
That's something Finn had said to me. 2 years after we had split ways, I traveled with Finn for 3 years, and then on my second year of travel solo, Finn had said to me, takes a biscuit root 5 years to bloom from when it's first planted from seed. So if I see you out here 5 years from when you were first planted, I can be sure that you're going to be here. And give me a hug,
Really?
Yeah.
This was something of a reunion after being separate?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, see, no matter what kind of problems we were having, I never hated that human being. So
That's a good
I always
thing.
loved them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could do no wrong in my eyes in that
Yeah.
way. Like there was nothing unforgivable that I ever endured.
Plus, it's not easy to carry anger and hatred with you. I was curious, when you're out there, like what do you have in terms of fear or anger?
I kind of feel like a ranger, like that gets pretty protective of this place. Like, what's your business here? Because most people's relationship to the wild spaces is kill and take. And so I get, especially these amazing, incredible places that few people know about. But I can't really go anywhere that I'm not immediately mourning because I have context of what this place looked like, what it should look like versus what it is and what's happening to it.
Yeah.
So that's tough. That's tough. So many people go out to these places and exclaim how beautiful it is. And I'm like, this is fucked.
And what are you seeing that they're not at that time?
Just layers of history that aren't so obvious. I can see tailing piles from mining and dredging and stuff like that, and you can see in the plant life, sparsity versus abundance and tire tracks going through it and all that.
Wow.
Old camps and stomped out mounds and stuff.
And because again, if you're having that reaction, is it anger towards people, towards mankind, I guess, or
it gets alchemized into precision and clarity.
Awesome.
To be able to witness it and express what you're seeing, thinking, and feeling in clear, concise way, because that's the way to neutralize any conflict.
Yeah.
Right.
And that comes through in your videos. I will say that.
Yeah. If you can clearly define what you're seeing, thinking, and feeling, then you're not handled by those things.
Yeah.
That's why vernacular is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have that. Because most people that can't define their own thoughts,
Yes.
emotions,
And you're something of a surgeon in that area.
they're handled by
You're
it.
surgical.
But I give myself full permission to feel what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But where do I get to express my anger?
Right.
In a place where, in a canyon,
What does that look like, though?
it doesn't look like much.
It doesn't.
It looks like
grounding.
me. It looks like me focused on understanding something, so I can refine it and define it and express it in a very concise and coherent way. That's where that goes.
Fascinating, man. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's really, really wild. But what about fear? What does that look like for you?
I'm mostly afraid of like a horse getting hurt or something like that. I don't really have many fears. I'm in the middle of nowhere most of the time, so I'm not really scared to be out there. There's nothing to be afraid of, honestly. If you are afraid of Bigfoot, try eating some wild onions, because Bigfoot loves onion breath and hates those without it. So it's part of the safety precaution.
Wow, you just reminded me of two things that were asked in comments earlier. One, what's your experience with Bigfoot/Big Feet?
I'm not supposed to talk about my family.
Oh, excellent.
They don't like it.
I see. Okay. And then someone else asked, in terms of predators, like how do you protect yourself from predators? And I remember I saw a video of yours once where it was just the fact that you're traveling in a group, you, the ponies, the dog, you have a smell, you have a noise, and is that enough to ward off predators? And
When we're traveling, I have a bell on my saddle.
the bell.
Yeah,
okay.
on my cinch. That ding-a-ling-a-ding-a-ding-ding, that alerts everybody that we're coming. But as far as I've had several occasions where bears are coming right for my shelter and it's 5 a.m. But I've always been up and seeing it. And I just offer them a hug and they tuck tail and run. They don't like hugs.
No? Mm-mm. All right.
No, so it's never really been an issue. You also got to consider that where we are out west is extremely tame. I mean, this isn't Alaska.
Right.
This isn't, northern Washington, Idaho, Montana, where there's grizzlies
Canada,
and
yeah.
all these things. And so down here is pretty tame. And every wildlife out here knows, stay away from people. Stay away from people. They know it.
And where did you pick up that bell technique? Is that a common solution?
That's an old,
is.
an old thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get brass bell.
This is just another curiosity of mine.
Mm-hmm.
No pressure to answer it. I'm just curious, for the time that you've been out there, and also knowing a little bit about Finn and how Finn related to the universe, God, just through a few clips I've seen. Like in terms of like theology, like what is it for you when you're out there? What is God to you?
I don't see or distinct a difference between the spiritual and the physical. In my eyes, they are the same thing. And everything has that kind of meaning. So when you spend enough time out there, you start learning directly from the land itself. Because like anything, you get acquainted with something, the subtleties of that thing become magnified, and you can see the details more clearly, more than somebody else. But that's a rabbit hole that keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
And it can go as far as you want, And it's my understanding as I continue to move in a way of fidelity towards contributing to the living things that ripple effect in all directions of beauty, abundance, and creation. Every single thing, plant, animal, grows and lives within its own pattern. So every plant has its own pattern, and that pattern is a literal tongue. And it's telling you everything about itself in its geometric structure. And that geometric structure is exemplifying. And that's a language that we have been disconnected from for a long time. But you hear it all the time. Shout out to the ancestors, because they figured out what was food through trial and error.
Yeah.
Perhaps not.
Right.
Maybe that's how you would figure out what's food or not.
Right.
See, it's
exactly.
a projection.
Ooh, that's powerful.
But the people of original creation coming to this place with a blank slate. It's in the traditional stories of the indigenous tribes all over.
Yeah.
They decided to take on people. These things gave their names to the people. The natives weren't out here naming things. These things gave them their names. That's why it's different everywhere you go.
It sure is, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're different people.
Yeah.
And so everything living in its own geometric structure and pattern is its living, breathing tongue.
Yes, indeed.
And the more you live in a way of fidelity, participating with that creation, you're waking up every day and you're participating with these patterns. They get burned into your vision. You start dreaming in plant language. And things come through. So I can show you wild foods that no one introduced me to. No one showed me how to gather. They did.
You just received something.
Through participating. Through
That's
just being there.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I fully subscribe to that, 100%.
As long as the water flows and the plants grow, the stories are being told and they're there to witness and interpret and understand. So nothing's lost in that way.
Yeah. It's very different now. Like we are numb to that relationship, that language. We, as in
Collective.
the collective here in general.
Right. And this stuff's going to sound like absolutely bonkers, not so crazy.
Right.
But it is what it is,
Yeah.
I'm willing to say it with my full chest.
And I said, how long while you were out there until you started to actually see that language?
It was probably always within me.
Right.
Because it didn't take too long. No.
Okay.
But it was always in those moments where it was just you and that, you and that, whatever it is, because as the seasons progress, you're participating with different things.
Yeah.
Different places, different things. And so that time between you and your mama, really important, really important. It even has become a point of contention in the past where, somebody was asking me the difference between death camas and regular camas. And I introduced them to death camas. Here's death camas, here's camas. Any of the differences you can witness yourself. And it became an argument, like I was withholding information.
Really?
Like I didn't want to teach them. When in reality, I was encouraging the relationship because all the differences discerned were my own observations. Nobody walked me through every detail and difference. I just want to encourage that relationship. And so reckoning or resistance, right?
Yeah.
Reckoning or resistance.
How interesting we captured that moment with Camus on camera.
Yeah.
How fascinating that's convenient. So I guess what I was trying to ask you there then, or I guess that's where it's going. So do you think that maybe, are you uniquely sensitive, or do you think that a lot of people have that inherent?
Like I said, it's going to manifest in everybody in their own unique way. It can't generalize these things. You can't generalize anything.
Yeah.
Everything is so unique and specific and individualized. So it's going to look like some different for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely, I'm paying attention to see what clicks.
Yeah.
In folks, and it seems to be a pretty hard reach for a lot of people.
That's too bad.
I haven't really witnessed it click on that level for very many. Whereas most people's participation is like a weekend or something.
Right. Exactly. I know.
And then longer than that is a big ask for people because it's it's a big adjustment. If you're not used to living minimally or squatting in the ground and all these things, they can compile.
Exactly.
I've even had people come out and stay with me and they had to go because they said the silence was disturbing.
Oh my goodness.
They just had to go sit in a coffee shop and be on the computer every other day or so.
They skipped out on detox.
And then eventually they're gone. Yeah. And it was of no offense to me or any which way, but everybody's different.
I know, but that's an opportunity, obviously. That was an opportunity to, it's like,
to go through that. It's uncomfortable. Yeah.
That's why
it is a detox. That's a good word for it.
Or even maybe it needs to be more like rehab where you don't get to leave.
See, and that's where I bow out because
Really?
I'm not here for your rehab.
Yeah. You're not the officer who's going to lock them down. No, it's got to be voluntary.
Yeah. You got to be self-motivating, self-initiating. Can't, And also probably not looking over your shoulder for reassurance and guidance, because
Yeah.
I know I don't, there's nobody I can look to for reassurance and guidance that what I'm doing is what I should be doing. I'm going the right way. No, it doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
It is voluntary to go out there and push yourself as far further than you've ever pushed yourself before to hopefully elicit some long-lasting change or an awakening of some kind.
I'd say just be sensitive to who you are, because
Yeah.
because once again, everybody is different. So just know yourself.
Yeah.
Get to know yourself even better. When you're learning to go from one way to another, there's a process in you getting to know yourself too and knowing your limits.
Yeah.
Because the objective is to be successful, right? So that's why we're not going to kick everybody off into the desert and you're going to live all wild and you don't know anything.
Right.
It's a great way to fail.
Great way to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the objective is to be successful, you're going to get all the tools necessary for you to be comfortable in a very uncomfortable place.
And what is success? Is it learning, I'm assuming.
Success is whatever you want it to be.
Growing, yeah.
So everybody's different. A lot of people want to learn, and whether or not that's it's a good goal to come out to learn to be beneficial to the place we're in, but everywhere is unique. So
Yeah. Is there anything going on right now in the local area? Because you're saying it's been a little beat up and you've
Yeah.
been looking. Have you been finding?
yeah, I
Yeah?
have. But like I said, I can't go anywhere without mourning a place. So
Yeah.
what I have found is like,
What's the last place you've been to where you didn't feel that morning? And what did you feel instead?
Hell's Canyon is one of those places where they should call it Hell's Kitchen, right?
Yes.
Because it was Hell's Canyon was heaven before it was damned.
Wow. Really?
Yes, that's scripture right there.
Yeah.
Hell's Canyon was heaven before it was damned.
So then you are mourning for Hell's Canyon because you are seeing the ramifications of a dam. So that is affected by that.
Oh,
mourning.
absolutely. Yeah.
So is there a place that you've been to that is untouched by that sense of mourning?
No, not really. Not really. But there are places of such mind-blowing abundance that overtakes anything else.
And those are the places you'll never tell where they are, nor would I expect you to.
They're pretty special.
Yeah.
They're pretty special.
Awesome. Obviously, May the 4th, big date. People should come out if they're here or in the area and check it. Definitely be present and be a voice. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, if you follow any of my socials on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, the petition is the top link found in my link tree, pasted in my profile bio, right? So I got a link tree which shows all the links, and so the petition is the first one.
Cool.
And I think it'd be fun to get, 100,000 signatures. I think that would be a great goal.
And then real quick, I just want to mention, you are the one who introduced me to human design when I first met you. Like it has moved me now. So I had someone in the studio on Monday and just visiting, just talking. Should have recorded it, but I didn't. And she is a human design specialist. Like she's just dialed into it. It speaks to her the way the plants speak to you. And I'm like,
It's a 3-dimensional thing, and so it
sure is.
It takes a long time to really get it.
It sure does. And so she's actually local here, and I would love to get the two of you in the studio as soon as possible to dive into that.
That'll be interesting. That'll be a side. I haven't shared any of my human design publicly, any of my interests publicly.
Yeah, I was going to say that is somewhat, I'm going to say it's vulnerable, but it's definitely, you're dropping your drawers a little bit, which is not a bad thing.
No, it's great stuff. It's
is.
really undeniable. I highly encourage people look into their own personal human design.
It speaks volumes in a language that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, what a good idea.
Awesome, Michael. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.